Since world states kind low-key doesn't matter, and as much I'm replaying just to do stuff I've never done, like be a noob dwarf in Origins and a Kunari Inquisitor. Yay! We should talk about that sometime if you guys want. We can open like a discussion about what you guys think about the world states, and if you think there should be more, which world state choices should have been included, and which ones do you think don't matter so much. That would be a really cool discussion to like have. Like, how do you guys feel about the world state options that have been included, because there are only 3. What are your initial thoughts of there only being 3? Like, are you bothered? Were you disappointed? I know a lot of people were disappointed. I was kind of surprised as well, if I'm honest. Like, when I was at the hands-on event, I remember getting to that part of Character Creator where you choose the 3 options. I remember saying to myself, is that it? Is that all? Just 3? Okay. I knew that wasn't going to go down well with people. I still think the well choice should have been included. I kind of think that it could have been included as well. I can kind of see why it wasn't included, but an awful lot of, I think it's just because an awful lot of my headcanon theories were around the well. So the fact that the well isn't an option that the devs felt needed to be carried over, I kind of am starting to think that all of my theories about the well just are wrong. But that's okay. I was disappointed. Yeah, it's kind of a thing, isn't it? The well choice doesn't matter though, because Mythal is gone by the end of Inquisition, so the power is gone. I still think Morrigan is Mythal, but I might just be holding on. I might just be holding on to hope. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it, Derek. I think it's because it's not a key factor in where it's going, and they're trying to accommodate everybody's kind of world states all at once, so we have to trust that it's going to be all right. But I can understand why people are disappointed. I feel okay about it. I was disappointed at first, but when I thought about it, and it kind of makes sense, I'm willing to wait and see at least. See, I think that's a good way to look at it. It is a shame. There are things that could have been done. There are things that could have been included, but at this point, without even playing the game, we just have to kind of trust that it's been sort of accommodated, as the devs are saying that they're trying to accommodate it. But if at the end of Veilguard, if something comes up, I'll say it. Like, if we get to a part of the game where I'm like, this should have been a choice at the beginning of the game, then I'll say it. Because the devs kind of say that things will be addressed in the game regarding past events, but it's trying to accommodate everybody's world state, because your world states aren't my world states and my world states aren't their world states. So it's like, how do you accommodate all world states but keep canon? And the devs have said that no matter what happens, all of your choices, all of your headcanons, all of that's happened in the past is still relevant to you in your playthrough. So I'm hoping that that's true, if that makes sense. But what options do you think should have been included? The well? Maybe I can see why the well and the old god Uthemiel don't really matter anymore, because they're now technically part of Solus. But what one's the Chantry? The Chantry dwarf, of course. What happened to the dwarf? Are you able to speak on whether or not we choose what happens to romances such as like Cassandra or Iron Bull? I can't. I think it's just implied. And I can't because I don't know, but I think if you romance them, it's implied that they're safe and well. So like, if you romanced Bull, he didn't betray you in Trespasser. If you romance, but what if you romanced Blackwall and then killed him? Like, what happens then? Like, Where are all my Blackwall climbers in chat? How many of you romance Blackwall as your canon romance in, oh for feck's sake, in Inquisition? How many of you have romanced Blackwall and then when it comes to his trial, killed him? Discuss. Like, how many of you have done that? If you romance Blackwall, the chat being very quiet right now is very telling. No, either none of you romance Blackwall, or none of you have romanced Blackwall and killed him. So then, I guess it doesn't matter. If you romance Blackwall, it's kind of like almost implied that you didn't kill him. So saying that you romance Blackwall, saying that your Inquisitor romance Blackwall implies that he's alive and well. Because why would you kill your romance partner? I guess is the thought process, but I don't know for sure. In his epilogue it states he was never heard from again and all Inky gets is a feather and something else with a note. That's so bah. But it's funny that you should mention the epilogues because I think that a lot of things were put to bed in Inquisition. Like all of the characters are pretty much concluded and put to bed in Inquisition. Veilguard is meant to be seen as kind of like a clean slate. The reason that you have the 3 options or the 3 world choices at the beginning of Veilguard is because your Inquisitor needs them. We need to know what happened to the Inquisition, we need to know who your Inquisitor romanced, and we need to know the other one that I can't remember. What is the third one? I've only played the game, I don't remember. The Inquisition? It was the Inquisition. The romance option. Oh, and if you're going to stop or redeem Solus. Those are the things that matter for your Inquisitor. But it doesn't matter who is the Divine because we're not dealing with the Divine. We're not ever going to touch upon the Divine. And whether it's Liliana, whether it's Cassandra, whether it's even Vivian, their characters have been kind of retired and put to bed. I don't know if Cassandra's coming back. It would be lovely to have a cameo from Cassandra. But I don't know. I've seen a lot of people say these options are only for Solus Mancers, and I disagree a lot. I disagree a lot with that too, because they apply to everyone. You can want to redeem Solus and not want to romance him. You could romance Solus and want to stop him. It's not geared towards Solus Mancers at all. Like, whether you disbanded the Inquisition or gave it over to the Chantry, it has nothing to do with your romance with Solus. Nothing to do with that at all. So I don't think that's right. I don't think it's right, but I think if they mention the Divine, they'll just say Divine Victoria. They will, because that's her name, and I think that that's just how they're going to like overarch it, because whoever becomes Divine, they take on the name Divine Victoria, and then that way everybody's canon is right. There's an awful lot of canon that needs to be taken into consideration, because like, how many of you had Liliana as your Divine? Like, give me a 1 in chat if Liliana was your Divine. Give me a 2 in chat if Cassandra was your Divine. Give me a 3 in chat if Vivian was your Divine. My chair is so squeaky. Exactly. That's a lot of like variants to like take into consideration. A lot of people had Cassandra, a lot of people had Liliana, a couple of people had Vivian, well done. But as an overarching way to accommodate all of your Divines, she's just called Victoria. But she will be mentioned. I doubt she will be in it because she is all the way back in Orlais and we're not going to Orlais, so it doesn't matter. But if she is mentioned, she'll probably just be referred to as Victoria because all of them, regardless of who is your Divine, is now called Divine Victoria. But I guess it would be nice But I was going to say it would be nice to know how they're doing, like if there was like a mention to Cassandra or to Liliana, but at the same time, Rook doesn't know these people. He knows Varric, but I don't know if Rook's been introduced to the Inquisition yet. Like, has he even met Liliana and Cassandra? It might not even affect him. It's Rook's story. Unfortunately, well, the thing about Rook is that it's been 10 years since Inquisition. So a lot of new people might be starting to play Dragon Age. And a lot of people who might not be up on the lore. So Rook is like a blank canvas for new players that are coming into the franchise as well. As Rook learns about the lore and about the characters, so will the new players. And for all the people who are deep in the lore, they're not going to be getting like mansplained at or gamesplained at, I suppose, by the devs who are regurgitating all the lore that we know from the previous games. So I can see why they did it, but I can understand why people are disappointed. I was disappointed when I first saw the options at the hands-on event. I remember turning to the person next to me and just being like, only 3. But honestly, when I started playing the game, I forgot all about it. I didn't think about it whilst I was playing the game. So I'm hoping that it's not going to be too much of a thing once we get into the meat of the story. Because again, I've only played a very small percentage of Veilguard, and I was very just like overwhelmed by everything, like this massive character creator, all of the new environments, all of the new characters. So I didn't really have time to stop and think about like my previous world states, but it'll be nice to like get my hands on the game and to have like a real kind of like in-depth look at how the previous game choices are incorporated into the game. But unfortunately, it's just a wait and see type of thing, unfortunately. I'm hoping that there's going to be an awful lot of like story beats that kind of touch upon things from the previous games, but in like an encompassing kind of way that can accommodate everybody's canon all at once. And hopefully it will feel authentic. Hopefully it will feel like it's my world, and hopefully it will feel like when you're playing it, it will feel like your world, and it won't break that immersion too much. I am hoping that there isn't going to be a point when I'm playing the game where I'm hearing the dialogue and thinking to myself, that's not what happened. I didn't save that dwarf. Or that's not who I chose as divine. Do you know what I mean? Like, but Dragon Age has always had a canon that the devs follow. There's always like a canon world state. So I hope they're not just going to like default to a canon world state. I hope it's going to be slightly more accommodating of everybody else's kind of options. Hello there, homeless ghost. Welcome in. My headphones will not stay in my ear. But how are you guys feeling at this stage? Are you feeling confident? Are you feeling like it was a wasted opportunity? Even if you're disappointed about the lack of options when you first heard about it, how do you feel now? Are you still disappointed? It's okay to be still disappointed, by the way. Are you disappointed but hopeful? Are you just not looking forward to it at all? I hope they don't treat everyone's world state like they treated Hawk in Inquisition. That really sucked when Hawk was so mischaracterized. Well, that's what people are worried about is going to happen to the Inquisitor. And that's what I'm worried about is going to happen to the Inquisitor. Because you don't play as... I'm pretty sure you don't play as your Inquisitor. Your Inquisitor has a very similar role to Hawk in Inquisition. So what I'm worried about is that it's not going to feel like my Inquisitor. Because someone else is writing her, someone else is in control of her, and someone else is like governing what she says. And I'm just like, that's what I'm really worried about. I'm worried about my Inquisitor not feeling like my character, which is difficult because you're not playing her, so we're going to have to wait and see how that goes. Hawk was only mischaracterized if you didn't use the keep to change their personality. You can make them funny still in the keep, I guess, but what if you don't have access to the keep? Then you just get Hawk. I forgot to change my Hawk on the keep so many times. How do you guys feel about the keep being not used anymore? Do you get will you guys miss the keep? I think I'm an outlier. I am okay with only 3 choices. There were options in the keep for Dragon Age Inquisition that I didn't really relate to in the current story. Yeah, I think people are in too much of a two minds about it. I won't miss the keep. Honestly, no, I rarely ever use the keep. I kept forgetting to update the keep. I updated it once and then kept starting new games in Inquisition forgetting to update my keep. Not too much. I only played Inquisition and got really overwhelmed by the previous choices. It's a lot to remember to do. A lot of people liked the keep. I liked the keep at first. Like when I first got to use the keep, I thought it was a really cool idea and I really enjoyed it. I liked it because when I was doing long playthroughs on, like say I was playing Dragon Age 2 on Twitch, but I didn't want to play Origins, I could just go into the keep and choose all of my favourite canon Origin options and then load it up into Dragon Age 2 and vice versa. So that was fun, but if it doesn't affect Veilguard at all, then I'm not going to miss it. But again, I can understand why people would miss it. It's an interesting choice for sure. Are you guys happy that Veilguard is not remote, that it's 100% offline? A lot of the choices in the keep were hardly mentioned or didn't really matter in Inquisition. A lot of the options on the keep really don't affect the story at all. Yeah, I'm happy that it's offline as well. I'm really excited that I don't have to worry about my online connection. So many times my internet just bugs out and I lose my connection with the game. I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sake. I'm happy that it's offline. No EA app. There's still the EA app if you get it through EA. Remember, if you get your game through the EA app, use my code FADE and I'll get a kickback. But don't. Go and buy it off of Steam if you prefer it off of Steam. Buy it off of the PlayStation Store. The PlayStation Store if that's where I did. Thank you. If that's where you're getting your game. But if you happen to get it off the EA app, use my code FADE. It works on the other Dragon Age games and it works on The Sims, I think. Yeah, the EA app is ass, but use my code. I will not be mad if you guys just buy it off of Steam, honestly. I don't like the EA app. It needs to be updated or something so that it's not as annoying as it is, but if you choose to buy it on Steam, I will not judge you at all. Do not want you ending up like me with shit take bad posture. Oh, thank you. I'll do a stretch. I'm going to take a quick break in a minute anyway. They need to go back to Origin. They need to go back to Origin? Origin was awful! I don't know which one I hate more, Origin or the EA app. Origin was like the worst. What do you think of the cast this time around? I think they're lovely. I've had to get to like grips with them. You know that way where like whenever you start a new game, it takes you a minute to warm up to characters, to warm up to their mannerisms and stuff. It took me a minute to warm up to a couple of the characters, but now I love them. I think you're going to love them too, honestly. I think I'm really interested to see what you guys think of characters like Balara, for example, because she's not what I thought she was, and I love her. At least my desktop shortcut didn't become useless every time Origin updated. They feel like my family already and I haven't even played. I can't wait. I can't believe that it's only a couple of weeks away now. It's the 11th today. I cannot believe that we're like Nearly there, guys. I want to know about Tash. Me too. I never got to see like any of Tash when I was at the hands-on event. But so I'd like to see some of Tash too, honestly, if I'm honest. We don't know anything about Tash. I can't even tell you guys anything about Tash. I literally saw nothing of her. There was an opportunity to put her in my party for the Battle of Weishaupt, but I opted for Emmerich because I wanted to show off a little bit of Emmerich. And so I had to forego Tash for Emmerich. But that's the only time I could even like interact with her. There was like one time in the lighthouse where I could kind of talk to her, but she didn't say much to me and I wasn't allowed to record it. So I don't have anything for you about Tash, unfortunately. But I'm really excited to find out more about her. And I'm really excited to find out more about how this game is going to play. I think it's going to be just one of those things where we just have to like kind of sit down with the game and see how it plays, and then we talk about what we don't like about it, what could have been better. Do only having 3 choices from the previous games affect how you've played the game? I think we're just gonna have to wait and see how it all goes, unfortunately. But believe me, if it affects the gameplay so much that it takes me out of the immersion of the game, I will be the first person to call that shit out, so do not worry.